When it comes to presentations, audiences are no different than any other walk of life. Some are just better than others, some are easier to work with than others, and some have more energy than others. And sometimes you get the ones that have less energy than everyone, a lot less. In this video, I'll show you how to get a low energy audience more engaged in your presentation. There are two situations that will almost always produce a lower energy audience. First thing Monday morning, first thing after lunch. You find yourself in the front of the room in those situations looking at people stuck in neutral. And there are plenty of other variables that can produce a low energy audience as well. And you can't usually control any of them. So the next time you find yourself presenting first thing on a Monday, right after lunch, or to an audience that resembles the living dead, try one of these three techniques to increase the energy and the engagement. Technique number one, move people. I'm a big believer in the mantra that if you want to move people emotionally, then move them physically. Get the audience members to physically get up from their seat and move to another seat. Sit next to somebody they either didn't know or who they didn't come into the room with. Have them introduce themselves with an interesting fact or two about themselves. Then randomly ask someone to introduce an audience member they just met. That wakes everyone up fast because now they realize they now have to both listen and speak to the group. Instant adrenaline rush, audience wake up. Technique number two, create teams. Early in the presentation, ask the audience what their number one objective is, what they most want to get out of your presentation. Have them write it down. Then start asking people to share their number one objective. As each person answers, ask the group as a whole who has a similar number one objective to the one you just heard. When those people raise their hands, ask them to get up and relocate together. You'll wind up with 3 or 4 or 5 teams of people who share a common thing they're looking for. Tell each team it's their responsibility to share with the rest of the group when they find their number one. Now you have people who have to pay attention because you have moved them physically, and you've told them they have to take an active role in the presentation as well. Once people are dialed in, they're engaged, the energy level goes up. Technique number 3, create competitions. This is one of my favorites. I like to divide the room into 2 or 3 groups and have them compete in a very simple game. Here's a classic. Finger flick football, 3-penny hockey, games we used to play in high school in the cafeteria. Find any game with very simple rules that everybody can play, no skill level is required. Then create an objective. First team to get to 20 points wins, for example. Then make sure there's a prize to play for, a fun trophy, a gift card, even a pack of gum for all the winners. People love playing for prizes. Play out the competition and ask everyone which strategy or strategies, which teamwork principles they used to win, and ask them to observe what the winning team did that the losing team didn't do, and then tie those principles into your presentation. Bottom line, audiences learn more and learn faster when they're having fun and when they think they're playing a game instead of attending a presentation. Sometimes you will have a large audience to present to, maybe too large to move the people around. In those cases, all 3 examples I just shared with you still work. If you have an audience that's, say, 1,000 seat, you simply pair each audience member up to the person sitting next to them. Even in that 1,000-seat auditorium, you can still have neighbors switch seats, share an objective, play a game. And any of those approaches will get a low energy audience, more involved, more engaged, higher energy. Listen, if you have a favorite icebreaker that you've had success with to amp up the energy, share it with me. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll share it with our followers. Send me an email at jerry@jerrysandusky.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, the hay's in the barn.